Hello, everyone, and welcome to Healthy at Work. My name is Catherine Wilcox, a workplace health specialist with a big passion for helping people thrive at work. From the home office to the corporate office, from the assembly line to the front line, I've got you covered here for your healthiest life at work. Now let's dive into today's show. Hello, and welcome to all the lovely listeners of Healthy at Work. Catherine here, and this week on Healthy at Work, I wanted to offer you a bit of a different practice. So, as many of you know, I've been a practicing mental health clinician for the last 20 years. It's been my great privilege to support people through many different life transitions and challenges, including their workplace health challenges, which is my area of focus today. And so over the years, I've worked with hundreds of people, and something that my clients have asked me to do over the years that I haven't quite gotten around to is recording some of the meditations and practices that we do in our work together. And so this week, I wanted to offer you one of my most powerful meditations, and I call it the Work Dread Reset Meditation. Is that resonating with anyone out there? Maybe that's a very relatable feeling to some of you listening or watching. The feeling, and it could be on a Sunday night if you work a Monday to Friday schedule, or it could be, right before your shift if you work shift work, that feeling like, oh my goodness, like it's time to go back to work. It's time to start my day. And sometimes there can be a great sense of trepidation, dread, anxiety. Many of us feel if we're, experiencing challenges with our work or in our work environment around, who we're going to encounter in the course of that day. Maybe we have a lot of trauma exposure in the work that we do, and we're not sure what horrible thing, we're going to hear about today or witness today at work. Maybe we're having challenges with our workplace relationships, and the thought of, facing a particular person or situation, interpersonal situation, is just completely overwhelming. And so we might notice our bodies talking to us. We might notice our nervous systems talking to us when this happens. And we can get, quite overwhelmed and panicked, at the start of our workday. And so I created this practice just to help settle and to help begin work in a good way, in a gentle way, where we're kind of acknowledging and honoring what we're experiencing, not trying to tune it out or push it away, but also affirming our capacity to do hard things and face difficult situations with courage. And I created this practice because I actually needed it myself. And so I'm offering this gift to you. We're going to get this done in about 10 minutes because I know, it can be really full, the days of work that we have ahead. I hope you enjoy, and I hope that if this is a practice that's valuable to you, that you share it with others and let me know if you'd like to see more of these. Welcome to this 10-minute Work Dread Reset meditation. Please make sure that you are in a safe, quiet, and comfortable space, that you're not listening to this while driving, and that you have the next 10 minutes just to pay full, loving attention to your experience. I invite you to close your eyes if that feels safe and comfortable for you to do so. Or if you'd prefer to leave your eyes open, that's okay too. Just cast your gaze downward so that you can pull all of your energy and attention inside of you just for the next few minutes. I'm going to be inviting you in the next few minutes to pay attention to different parts of your experience. I'm going to ask you to use your attention like a flashlight that you can move around in your experience to hone in and to gather information from different parts of your body, your mind, and your heart. We want to do this with a very kind and loving type of attention. So, whatever you're experiencing right now, whatever is happening as you prepare to begin your work, we want to meet it not with judgment, not with thoughts of blame and shame, but with a very warm and welcome energy as we learn to notice what's happening, to care for it, and to make decisions around what we want to carry into our day. So, the first thing I'd like you to pay attention to with this kind and loving attention is just the feeling of your feet connected to the earth underneath you. Maybe you are in a seated position. Notice the floor, if that's the case, underneath you. Maybe you are standing. So just feel into that pressure of your feet against the earth. If you're sitting, notice the support underneath you from the chair or the couch, or if you're in a car, the seat that you're sitting on. Feel your sitting bones connected to the surface that you're sitting on. Feel the support against your spine if you're leaning against a chair or some other surface. Feeling held and supported. The next thing I'm going to invite you to pay attention to is your breath. When we're anxious, when we're experiencing dread, we can really constrict and shorten the breath. And if that's what's happening for you in this moment, I invite you to notice what it's like just to take a few full and deep breaths. So nothing is forced. We're not trying to fix or change or will our way into relaxation. We're simply trying to notice our experience. If we invite deeper and fuller breaths. See if that brings a feeling of ease to this practice. Feeling connected, supported, and breathing fully and deeply. I'm going to ask you to focus your kind and loving attention on your body. So just take a gentle scan of your body so you can notice things like sensations in the body. You can notice things like temperature, tingling. Notice if there's a particular part of your body that's calling for your attention. If there's areas that hold tension or areas that hold relaxation in the body. We're not trying to judge or change anything that we're noticing. We're just trying to gather information around what is happening in the body. And when we experience things like dread and anxiety, I know it can be really hard to tune into that. It can be hard to notice our own suffering. So rather than notice the story around what's hard and difficult and how bad it might be or how unwanted the experience might be, simply just try to notice at the level of sensation in the body. So that could be tightness in the chest, maybe disease in your stomach, maybe it's tension in your shoulders. Just trying to notice what is going on in my body. And there might be a lot to notice. And if so, you can stay there. Or if you'd like, I'd invite you to begin noticing what's happening in your emotional experience today. So, can you give a name to any feelings that you're sitting with? Maybe it is anxiety. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's irritation. Maybe it's a sense of powerlessness or hopelessness about the day ahead. It can be very good for our brain when we're able to name our emotional experience. Oh, anxiety is here. Anxiety is with me in this moment. Oh, dread is here. Dread is with me in this moment. This is the experience of fear, if that is what you would call your emotional experience. So, again, we're not trying to judge or make up a story around whether it's good or bad to be having these feelings. We just want to meet them with a very kind and very gentle attention. And if it helps, you can even repeat to yourself, this is how it is. This is how it is today in my body and in my emotional experience. And the last thing now I'm going to invite you to pay attention to is what's going on in your mind. What is the quality of your mind right now? Is it focused? Is it clear? Is it tuned into this practice? Is your mind relaxed? Our human minds love to run behind us into the past, remembering things that have happened, maybe recalling them, even reliving them, including experiences at work that may have been very difficult or overwhelming for us. They also love to run into the future. They love to run into planning, anticipating, worrying, dreading. And, these types of responses are often just natural human responses of our nervous system, trying to anticipate threat and danger, trying to keep us safe. However, life is lived in the moment. So I invite you to take a moment to see if your mind can just rest on your very present experience here in this moment of life, with the body that you have today, with the feelings that you're tuned into and sitting with today, and with the mind that you have today. Sometimes our minds are anxious or foggy or distracted. And if it helps, you can gently repeat to yourself, this is how it is for me today. This is just where my mind is at in this moment today. And so let's take all of the information we've gathered over the last few minutes, and rather than trying to shame and blame ourselves or fight what's happening, let's just meet our experience with that kind and loving attention as though we were meeting a child and trying to accept that child and soothe it and say, this is how it is for me in this moment. This is how it is right now. And coming back to those full and deep breaths, just with a sense of acceptance around where we are at in this moment, I wanted to offer to you some important reminders before we close this meditation and you prepare to begin your workday. And these are things that are really important for us all to hear. And so I offer them to you, that whatever you're experiencing in this moment around your work and your workday, that it's reasonable. It's reasonable that you're having these thoughts and feelings in response to your work environment. Your feelings are valid. Your feelings are reasonable. And it's also reasonable to have needs as you go about your day to day. Human needs for rest, for pause, for care. I also want to remind you, before you begin your work today, that it's possible to care very much about your work and the people you work with without sacrificing your own well-being. Everybody gets care, including you. I also want to remind you that work is not about being perfect. Part of being a human is learning through making mistakes. We try not to cause harm through our mistakes, and yet mistakes will happen because we're human, and they can be powerful opportunities to learn. So starting your day, reminding yourself that it's okay not to be perfect. Then finally, I'd like to offer you the reminder that you've been through difficult days in the past. Yeah, we all have. I want to remind you that you have navigated through past difficult experiences, and to remind you of the inner resources that you have and the help you have too to get through today. So taking a few final, full, and deep breaths, coming back to that feeling of being supported by the surface that you're sitting on, feeling that connection of the ground, the earth underneath you, supporting you. And if your eyes were closed, I invite you to gently open them, letting the light of the room you're in or the natural environment you're in just back into your experience. And wherever you are with your open eyes, take a look around you and notice where you are, who else might be around you. Listen for some of the sounds in your environment. Take a final deep breath. And I wish you all the best with your work ahead. Thanks for listening today. This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not medical advice or mental health treatment. If you're struggling at work, please reach out to the supports within your workplace or community. This podcast was gratefully recorded on the unceded and ancestral homelands of the Lekwungen-speaking people of the Songhees and Esquimalt nations.